Hello, fantasy managers, and welcome to another edition of the First Pitch Podcast. My name is Trevor Hooth, and my gosh, what a crazy game! Dodgers and Diamondbacks finally ended. So we're going to talk some baseball here on the First Pitch Podcast. What a wild one to end it, though. I'll tell you what, today in baseball, or yesterday rather, in baseball, not a great day to be a hitter. Of course, we have some standouts, but big day for pitching. Looking at some of the news, Kyle Wright was on the comeback trail for the Royals. He was actually pulled off of his rehab stint with shoulder fatigue. The club does not believe it's a huge setback, just a minor one, but they're still waiting for Kyle Wright to debut in a Royals uniform. So, going to have to wait a little bit longer. Once again, pulled off his rehab stint rather, with shoulder fatigue. Not what you want to see. Hopefully, it doesn't keep him out too much longer. Small trade happening. Padres trade Connor Joe to the Reds for Andrew Moore, a minor league reliever, and cash. The White Sox making a move. They are going to promote Tim Elko. Tim Elko is a College World Series hero, hit a bunch of home runs with torn ACLs. It was a crazy time for the College World Series. The College World Series is always pretty crazy, but Tim Elko now working his way through. Lots of power, lots of strikeouts. We will see how that translates to the big league level. The corresponding move is going to be made. They have not officially added him to the 40-man roster, but the White Sox will have to. But it is announced Tim Elko is on the way for the White Sox. So if you're looking for maybe a little bit of a power bump, might be a good spec ad if you have the room, because he should have a path to some playing time and he's got some power. The Blue Jays put Andres Jimenez on the 10-day IL with a quad strain. They select Michael Stefanik, but Ernie Clement is, if I had to guess, the guy who's going to play a lot of second base in the absence of Andres Jimenez. The Angels transfer Ben Joyce to the 60-day IL. You don't love to see that. The young flamethrower went originally on the injured list with shoulder inflammation. Was hoping it was going to be just a little bit of a break, but or a little bit of time on the shelf, but he got transferred to the 60-day IL. So we'll see how serious that turns out to be. You don't like it when you're messing with the shoulder, especially for a guy who's regularly hitting triple digits. Hayden Wesneski for the Astros also heading to the 15-day IL with elbow discomfort. Logan Van Way to be recalled to take that roster spot. Wesneski's a guy that I've been very in on this year. I thought that the Astros could do some good stuff with him, and they really have to some degree. He had a really good start with the new club, but heads to the 15-day IL with elbow discomfort. The Rangers selected Sam Haggerty prior to yesterday's games. They optioned Dustin Harrison. Poor timing for Sam Haggerty to come up, because he had to face Tarek Skubal on, what could become a Tarek Skubal signature game in a way. But we'll talk about that in a little bit. The Rays have transferred Ha-Sung Kim to the 60-day IL. This was not expected, but not unexpected. It's not a setback or anything. They didn't think they'd get him back for a while, but he is now on the 60-day IL, so he is going to be out for potentially a little bit longer than maybe we were hoping for. The Braves have DFA'd Eddie Rosario to make room for infielder Luke Williams. Nothing huge fantasy-wise there. Brad Keller for the Cubs is set to make the start in today's game. Kind of thought maybe it would be Cade Horton with the news of his promotion. We'll have to see. Maybe he follows. No word on that yet officially. Ryan Weathers has been on the IL for a while. He's set to make his debut on Wednesday, so that's going to be coming up this week. Ryan Weathers returning to the Marlins rotation. He's a guy who set to have a pretty good year, you'd think. So hopefully that injury didn't hold him back too much, and he can come back and have that almost breakout campaign that a lot of people were thinking were going to happen. The Red Sox might have a roster shakeup coming. Get away from the Rafael Devers drama for a little bit. Romy Gonzalez and Rob Refsnyder are both potentially heading to the injured list, so they're going to have to make a few moves. That's according to Chris Cotillo on Twitter. So I don't know what the moves are going to be, but it seems like they're going to have to make a couple moves to get a little bit more hitters. All right, looking at some hitting highlights. Like I said, it was a good day to be a pitcher, not a great day to be a hitter. So there are not as many of these as there are the pitching highlights, but Either way, let's jump in. It was a home run party for the Colorado Rockies. They hit 3 of them. Michael Toglia hit his 5th. Ryan McMahon hit his 5th, and Jordan Beck adds his 6th. Jordan Beck seems like he's been talked about a lot by me on this specifically on this podcast since he got called back up. He didn't do very well, got demoted, and all of a sudden his promotion brings him back, and he's up to 6 home runs now on the year. Gunnar Henderson, since coming back from his injury, started really slow, but he continues to heat up. He hit a triple and a home run in the game yesterday, his second triple and 4th home run. He's now up to 258. So if you're worried about the Gunnar Henderson slow start, not slow anymore. He's been hitting the ball pretty well lately. I mentioned the Tim Elko news. The White Sox are planning to call up Tim Elko. Well, that news happens before he comes up. Andrew Vaughn hits his 4th home run of the year. He was DHing. Miguel Vargas played first base. Tim Elko is going to play one of those 2 positions. He will DH or he will play first base. So we'll have to see how that goes. I guess you just move Vargas back to a different part of the infield. You still have room for Andrew Vaughn, but you got to think Andrew Vaughn's time might just be up here soon. Jason Dominguez, 3 home runs on the day. That's pretty cool. 7 RBIs. You got to love him playing in Sacramento, but 3 home runs and 7 RBIs, a great day for Dominguez, who is now up to 5 home runs on the year. Speaking of prospects who got demoted and called back up, Brett Beatty, I've hyped him up. He did not live up to that hype. He got sent down for a little bit, but has returned, had 2 hits in his second game back, including a home run, so maybe a sign of good things to come. Shohei Ohtani, we know he can hit the ball, had a home run and 2 doubles in that insane game that just ended at the time of recording this. Andy Pages also had a good game. He slowed down a little bit off of that torrid pace he was on, but he's still kind of on a hot streak, had a pair of hits, including a double. Over his last 7 games, I think he's hitting somewhere around 280. He was in like the 350 range over his last 14. So he slowed down a bit, but nothing crazy. He's still hitting the ball really well. Ketel Marte, 15 games back since coming off the IL, already has 3 home runs, including a pair in yesterday's games. He's hitting 292, so he's come back with a vengeance and swinging a hot stick. And Lourdes Gurriel had a grand slam. He had 1 hit. I think he went 1 for 5 on the day, and he had 5 RBIs, which just makes me giggle a little bit because that's the same total that Eugenio Suarez had in his 4 home run game was 5 RBIs. Gurriel did it with 1 hit. To be fair, one of them was a grand slam. All right, now looking at some pitching. We had a lot of pitching to dive into today. Jordan Hicks, apparently not a fan of my predictions. Second weekend in a row that I have predicted that he's may not do well. Well, he did. Went 6 innings, gave up 7 hits, struck out 6, did give up 3 earned runs, did not walk any. He's one of those you just don't really know what you're going to get from him. On the other side, Chris Paddock, again, didn't like my prediction either. 7 1/3 innings, struck out 6, gave up only 1 run. I did get a couple things right, so my goodness. But Paddock and Hicks, that turned out to be a much more fun game than I would have thought. Tomoyuki Shigano went 7.1 innings, gave up 1 run, and struck out 5. Strikeout rates haven't really been there, but threw out a good game in this one. Hunter Brown for the Astros, been fantastic, continues to be fantastic, likely will continue to be fantastic for a while. Very good pitcher. The supremacy continues to reign. 5 2/3, 2 hits, 0 earned runs, struck out 9. He did walk 4. We know Hunter Brown can have some struggles with command sometimes. Did walk 4 in this one, did not come back to bite him. Another Hunter had a big game for the Red Sox. Hunter Dobbins, 6 shutout innings. He struck out 6 and walked 0, did give up 5 hits. So a nice game from Hunter Dobbins. Michael Lorenzen had an even better game on the other side of that. 7 innings, 3 hits, 0 earned runs. So 7 shutout innings with 7 strikeouts and no walks. Good game for Lorenzen. Okay, I spent a lot of time talking about Gavin Williams yesterday, so let's see how that one went. I said that he's always a guy. Whenever I watch him, whenever I see his stats, it seems like there's another shoe that's going to drop. Something is there, right? Well, I mean, hey, he had a good game at least in this outing. 5 shutout innings and 8 strikeouts. He did walk 4, but he threw 5 shutout innings, which is good. He's been giving up, quite a bit of runs. Roki Sasaki, you mentioned him a lot. There's a lot of hype around Roki Sasaki. He got 0 whiffs on his fastball. That's kind of been the issue for him, is his fastball has not been playing very well. It hasn't been getting located very well. It's been an issue. He had 0 strikeouts on the night, 5 earned runs. He needs to figure out that fastball, I think, is a starting point for him. He has really good breaking stuff. We've seen it, but if he can't get that fastball in order, could be a long season for Roki Sasaki as he adjusts to Major League Baseball. Here's one I got right, okay? I predicted that something good was gonna happen between the Will Warren and Osvaldo Bido matchup. I couldn't give you a reason why I thought that. It was a gut feeling. Well, it was Will Warren, okay? 7 and a third, 7 strikeouts, 1 walk, 1 earned run. He had a great game against that Athletics lineup. Bido, on the other hand, well, let's just say I was half right, right? 5 and a third, gave up 3 runs, pair of walks, 6 strikeouts. Not terrible, not great, but Will Warren had a fantastic game. Eric Fetty with the Cardinals, a complete game shutout, 8 strikeouts, no walks, gave up 6 hits. I am sure that I am forgetting one, but it's just I cannot remember the last complete game that I saw. I'm sure I'm forgetting one. I'm sure I missed one, but Eric Fetty going 9 innings. You love to see that. Again, 8 strikeouts, so he had a fantastic day. And in terms of starters, one more starter to talk about, Tarek Skubal. We know Tarek Skubal's good, right? It was Skubal bump day. We're all excited about it. He struck out 12 in 7 innings. He had 32 whiffs. I'm going to say that again for dramatic effect. 32 whiffs. Over his last 6 starts, he has 50 strikeouts and 1 walk. This dude is on a whole nother planet. I don't even know if he's playing baseball. I mean, everyone else is. I don't know what he's doing, but oh my gosh, he has been fantastic. And then a couple reliever notes before we jump into looking at upcoming starters for today. For the Giants, they've been taking some of their starters in recent years and turning them into bulk relievers. Kyle Harrison started the year in AAA. He's back up with the big club. He had his second outing yesterday, and he went 2 scoreless with 3 strikeouts. He did walk 3, but he looked good in that second outing. So now you have Harrison and you have Birdsong that they can just extend out and have pitch multiple innings and even be there for spot starts, right? They're still getting value out of them. But Kyle Harrison coming back and looking pretty good so far as he had to give up a run in his 2 outings in relief. Jeff Hoffman for Toronto struck out the side, picking up his 8th save and 9 chances. He has 27 strikeouts in 18 innings. So just having a good year as a reliever there. And then finally, the Royals, Steven Cruz. He's a 6'7" monster, former Twins prospect. I remember watching him pitch for Fort Myers a few years ago. He has 3 holds in 12 games, so he's not racking up saves holds for those leagues. But in 10 and 2/3 innings, he has not given up a run and only given up 3 hits while striking out 8. He might be pitching himself into regular holds situations. I mean, he's not going to pitch himself into saves this year, I don't think, unless there's injuries. But he might be pitching himself into more of a hold situation. Keep in mind, though, he does have 4 walks, and that was kind of his thing as a prospect was where's the command at? Hasn't hurt him so far. Again, hasn't given up a run yet. He's thrown just over 10 innings. But certainly if you are in super deep leagues, as I am, you might want to monitor him to see if he can get more consistent opportunities to rack up holds if you're in saves holds leagues. With that, we're going to take a quick timeout. When we come back, we're going to look at the pitching matchups for today, at least the ones that stand out. I appreciate you listening. This is the First Pitch Podcast on Pitcher List. And welcome back to the First Pitch Podcast on Pitcher List. My name is Trevor Hooth. Thank you for joining me on this one. We talked about some of the news and the highlights, and it was a crazy day of baseball. At least if you like pitching, it was. And this is Pitcher List, so we tend to like that stuff. So it was a fun day of baseball to watch. What about today's games? Let's take a look at who's coming up. One pitcher that I definitely like in his outing today is AJ Smith-Shawver with Atlanta. He is taking on the Pirates, and he is coming off of an 8 shutout inning game against the Reds. He didn't have the best start. I believe he was sent down, but he's back up now and had a fantastic outing the last time out, and I think he can keep that going pretty well against the Pirates. So AJ Smith-Shawver, definitely a guy I'm interested in for today's outings. Jacob deGrom is going to line up against the Tigers, and the Tigers' offense has been hot. They've been hitting the ball great. However, Patrick Corbin just 3-hit the Tigers in his outing. Granted, he gave up 2 earned runs, but he only gave up 3 hits, and that is Patrick Corbin. No offense to him. He's not the pitcher he once was. Jacob deGrom kind of looking like the pitcher he once was, or at least not that far off in some ways. So what will Jacob deGrom do to this Tigers offense that just struggled against Patrick Corbin? Something to watch out for. Jack Flaherty on the other end of that, trying to follow up the insane outing from Tarek Skubal in yesterday's games. Shane Smith, the first overall Rule 5 pick, who has been just fantastic, no longer a well-kept secret, I don't think, but he's facing off against the Marlins, entering the game with a 2.41 ERA. He has been utterly fantastic. He was expected to be good getting picked in the Rule 5, but I don't think he was expected to be good as a starter. I think this was expected to be good in a bullpen role. No, he's taken over a rotation spot, and he's been fantastic. He's got the Marlins. That's a good matchup for him. I mentioned that Brad Keller is going against the Mets, but then who? You kind of thought this was going to be a Cade Horton day. So the question is, do you go Brad Keller as an opener and then Cade Horton follows him? That's a possibility. Has not been said that that's what's happening, but that's a definite possibility. We'll have to see how the Cubs want to play it with Cade Horton just waiting on his debut. But Brad Keller is set to start against the Mets. Don't love that, but it's relevant because maybe Cade Horton. Tyler Megill going against the Cubs on the other side of that. And finally, there's a couple of really, really fun pitching matchups where you got good pitchers on both sides if you're just looking to watch some good baseball. Logan Webb versus Joe Ryan in the Giants versus Twins is one of them. Joe Ryan has been pitching really well lately, so we'll see how that goes. But the big one, the big kahuna, oh, you just don't see too many games like this. I'm real excited about it. It's going to be the Royals versus the Red Sox. The absolute, no doubt in my mind, matchup of the day. Cole Reagans versus Garrett Crochet. That's going to be a fun one unless you get penciled into that opposing lineup. Then you're not going to have as much fun. But if you're just watching and you don't have to try to hit these guys, should be a pretty fun pitching matchup. So Cole Reagans versus Garrett Crochet obviously doesn't help fantasy because if you don't have them, you don't have them. But if you like watching good baseball, that's the one I'm going to be paying attention to tomorrow. With that, I will see you guys tomorrow to wrap up my weekend here on the First Pitch Podcast. Make sure to check out pitcherlist.com. Nick's got his list. Scott Chu has the hitter list. Rick Graham has the reliever list. And there's a bunch of other fantastic written content on that site coming out all of the time. And of course, we have our Discord that you can join. Make sure to join PL Pro, myself, Jay Crumpler, all the writers. We are there. We are talking baseball all the time. It's a great place to be. With that, I appreciate you joining me. This has been another edition of the First Pitch Podcast on Pitcher List.